What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Cameron, and today I am going to be making a tutorial on how to add a map toggle button to your 5 Minutes to Ready Span game. So, map toggle, what are you doing here? We all know it. It's just a button that lets you toggle between floors or like vents, and it just kind of has access to more cameras and stuff like that. And believe it or not, it was only featured in one FNaF game, which was actually FNaF 3. Which was surprising to me because I thought a map toggle was in a lot more FNaF games, but I guess not. It was only in like FNaF 3, and I guess you could count FNaF 6, but like I wouldn't really count that. But it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be teaching you guys how to add a map toggle. So I'm just going to be showing you guys how to switch between floors and also make it so that you have another set of cameras and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. So we're just going to head over to night 1. And the first thing we need to do is we want to actually go into our map object, which I don't think I can right now. Yeah, okay, there we go. We want to go into our map object, which of course is just like an outline. And then we want to go right click, new frame, and then you want to insert your second floor frame, or like your second floor map, or whatever, which mine are just like vents, so I don't really got nothing to worry about. So I have to find my map. There we go. So I have my map right here. There we go. So my first floor is just this. It's maybe I should make this a little more clear so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so as you can see, the map is like this on the first floor. On the second floor, the outline is a little more darker, but you can see the vents, which are just bright red. So that's kind of the difference between the two, and we're gonna make it so that that also switches between the two. So after you have that, make sure you go over to View Hotspot, hold down Alt, and press the middle square. After you have that, press OK, and just move it back down here. Oops, it's gonna be a little hard to move, but just move that down here. And if you actually run the frame, which I don't actually know where this was even placed at, I think it was like, no, it was like, clock. Hold on, I'm trying to, oh my god, I'm trying to get it right. Yeah, that's good enough. So if you actually run the frame, as you can see, it'll already be on your second floor, because as you can see, my vent map is showing. And obviously we want these cameras to disappear because you're on another floor. So I gotta do that too. But the next step is we're actually going to insert our buttons, or yeah, we're gonna insert our buttons, and the first one is obviously going to be our map toggle button, which we're going to do right now. I just have to change some things real quick. So what we want to do is we want to go right click, insert object, active, okay. And we are going to rename this to map toggle button. And you want to also make sure that this is on the same layer as your cameras. My layers are on camera 4. And if yours is on a different floor, you can just drag your rhombus here and just drag it over to another layer, and boom, it'll be on another layer. So like with a lot of other tutorials, we want to make it so that this active is behind our static. So we want to make it so that this rhombus is behind our static, but in front of our camera. So if you actually go over, as you can see, my static right here is on layer 4, object 15. So what we want to do is we want to make this rhombus right here layer 4, object 14, which is just behind the static. But first, we need to actually insert our button, and then we will get to do that. So we're going to double click into our rhombus and insert your map toggle button. That should be down here somewhere. Yep, map toggle button. There we go. So we have our map toggle button, and just stick that wherever you want to. I'm probably going to keep it like, I don't even know. I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Hold on. God damn it. I am going to move these two out of the way, so I can just put that right there. And as you can see, we want our map toggle button to be behind our static, like I said before. So what we want to do is we want to go over and go, we're going to put our map toggle right here just to kind of make sure it's behind our static. We want to go right click, order, backward 1. And what this will do is this will move the object backward 1. If you go order to back, it'll push it all the way to the back. If you go right click, order to front, it'll make it it'll be the upmost object. And if you go right click, order forward 1, it'll obviously go forward 1 as well. So just keep going backward 1 until it is behind your static. So this will take a bit if you have a lot on your map toggle or on your layer 4 or whatever layer you have your cameras on. But obviously it's worth it because it'll look much better and it'll be much cleaner, I should say. So that will be coming up very soon. As you can see, we're the 19th object, 18, 17, 16, and 15. I thought it was going to be 14, but it is 15. And as you can see, my map toggle is now behind my static. And I think that looks a lot better because then we can have it so that the static will kind of cover up the map toggle. So whenever you go into this and you like press like camera button, as you can see, it'll like kind of fade in with the static as well. After you have that, the next move is to select your map toggle button, go over to properties, go over to runtime options, and uncheck follow the frames under scrolling settings. And obviously this will make it so that it won't stick in one place. It'll kind of just follow you wherever you go, and I think that looks a lot better. So now what we want to do is we're going to go right click, insert object, and we're going to insert a counter, which will add 1 whenever you click on the map toggle. And what that will do is that'll basically make it so that whenever you click it, it'll just show a different map, it'll show all the different camera buttons, it'll show all of that. So after you insert your counter, oh my god, my voice is fucking dying. Rename this to map toggle function, I guess. Map toggle function. And once you have that, now we can go over to our event editor. Just to get this kind of working so far. So we're gonna go over to just the new condition. Right click, insert a group of events, and we're going to title this map toggle. Map toggle. There we go. And then we're gonna go over to new condition. We're gonna go over to storyboard controls, start frame, go over to your map toggle function counter, right click, set counter to 0, and then you want to go over to new condition, the mouse pointer and keyboard, the mouse, user clicks on an object. Oh my god. Oh god. I'm getting sick. Choose a button option, just press the left button. And then you want to go over and press your map toggle button. There we go. And also, I think what would work here as well is you want to make sure you can only click the map toggle button if your camera's up. So you want to go right click, insert, go over to your where's camera animation? Camera animation trigger, commit the counter to value when it is set to 1. And when the camera animation trigger is set to 1, when you click on it while it's open, then it'll do whatever it needs to. And once you have that, you want to go over to your map toggle function, and you want to go right click, add to counter 1. So doing this will also just make it a lot easier, because what we did in the past was we did what's a good example of this? Okay, right here's a perfect example. So the like button, we made it so that whenever you click on the button, it'll add it to 1 whenever it's set to 0, and whenever it's set to 1 when you press it, it's going back down to 0. But an easier way to do this, and a much faster way in my opinion, is if you click on the map toggle when the camera's up, it'll add it to 1. And then you can go over to new condition, and you can go over to your map toggle function, compare the count to value. When it is greater than 1, then it'll go back to 0. So that means every time you click it, like for example, like we start at frame, it's gonna be set to 0. When you click on the map toggle, it'll add 1. And if you click it again, it'll add 1. But since whenever the map toggle is greater than 1, it'll go back to 0. That means if you add 1 whenever the map toggle function counter is set to 1, it won't be set to 2, it'll go back to 0 because the counter is set to make it so that when it's greater than 1, it'll go back down. Make sense? I hope so. After you have that, you want to go over to new condition, go over to the map toggle function, compare the count to value. When it is set to 0, and what we want to do is we want to go over to our map, wherever that is. I think is this it. Where's my map? This is my map? Yeah, this is my map. Go over to your map, right click, animation, change, animation frame to 0. And then go over to new condition, map toggle function, compare the count to a value. When it is set to 1, go over to your map, right click, animation, change, animation frame to 1. So basically this will just change between the maps. So this should already be working, and this is pretty much half the battle. So you go over, alright, we'll get rid of the map toggle obviously, but whenever you go camera up and you click the map toggle, boom, you're on your second map. And when you click it again, you're back down, which is cool. So as I said before, it's super easy. It is a super easy function. I said really easy like a bunch of times. And really the only thing you can do after this is just click it, make it so that like there's like a little fade into it, which we will do because it does look a lot better. But you can do that, and then we're gonna make it so that these cameras right here will disappear, and we'll have 3 more cameras with 3 more camera buttons that show 3 more cameras. So that's what we're gonna do now. So we want to go back to our frame editor, and what we want to do next is we want to insert our cameras. We're not going to insert our camera buttons because I didn't make pre-made camera buttons yet. So we'll just insert our cameras first. So go into your cameras object. Oh my god, I'm out of breath. And the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to add 2 animations. So we're going to go right click, new, and we're going to title this animation floor 1. That is floor 1. And then on floor 1, we want to go over to our cameras, and we want to select all of our cameras. This should be in your stopped animation. And once you have all of your cameras selected in the stopped animation, copy it and then paste it over to floor 1, and then just get rid of this last frame because it's just a diamond. Make sure it's all set up correctly in the hotspot viewer, whatever it's called, and then you can just get rid of stopped. This will not do anything wrong to it. This won't do anything bad. This will be actually pretty good because then it's a lot more stabilized. It's a lot more organized, I should really say. And obviously if it's titled, you can't rename the stop for some reason to like floor 1, which isn't floor 1, which is pretty annoying. Like, why can't you just rename it? But whatever. So our first floor is going to be called floor 1, and then we'll make another animation called vents, because this will show my vents because that's my second floor. And then just insert all of your vent cameras. So I already have pre-made vent cameras. They're a little lazy, but who really cares? I'm making a tutorial. So, did I not do it? What the fuck? Okay, so, get your cameras. I literally just titled this Vent 1, Vent 2, Vent 3, because, I was under a time crunch yesterday. So, I'm just gonna insert, where's animation? And then, so as you can see, here's some pretty snazzy cameras. I have Vent 1, Vent 2, Vent 3. If you really thought I was gonna put effort into this, you were dead wrong. So, I don't know what you were thinking. After you insert all of your vent cameras, your floor 2 cameras, hold down Alt, go over to View Hotspot, and press the middle square like we always do. And like with the map, whenever the map toggle function is set to 0, it'll be set to floor 1 cameras, but when it's set to 1, it'll be set to vent cameras. Make sense? I hope so. So we're gonna go over and press OK. And this should work, but you do have to you do have to keep in mind a couple things. So and obviously I'll talk about that more once we actually run the frame. So we're gonna go over to Event Editor, and we want to add on to this code. So we're gonna go over to map toggle function is equal to 0. Go over to cameras, right click, animation, change animation sequence to floor 1. Because when it's set to 0, it's set to floor 1, which means you did not press the map toggle. But whenever it's set to 1, go to your cameras, right click, animation, change animation sequence to vents. And once you have that, we want to run the frame, because this should technically already be working, but we are going to fix some things, so some stuff might not work. But we will see when we get there. So we're going to press the map toggle, and as you can see, I'm now on vent 1, vent 2, vent 3, and I can only be on vent 3 because I only have 3 frames, but you get the picture. So what we're gonna do here is, I don't know if I already said it, and obviously you guys can't see where my mouse cursor is right now, which I still have no idea why, but what we want to do is we want to make it so that we have 3 more cameras, or how many cameras you want, but I want 3 more cameras in my vent. So I have like I don't know, like camera 7 here, camera 8 there, camera 9 there, you know what I mean? And this will obviously show all of my vents. But we need to make it so that it's a part of our system, kind of. So we are going to go back and actually insert our camera buttons, and I don't actually have any pre-made camera buttons for my second map, so that's kind of an issue, so I will have to go make that. But we want to go over and just make new camera buttons basically for our second map. And what I would recommend, Chica, get the fuck out of here. Hold on. Right, you out here? Yeah, let me get you out of here. So what I would do is I would go into your map just to make your job a lot easier. I'd go to the map, and then I would just move your floor 2 map to your frame 1. So I just drag it over here so that it's now, this is what's showing, and that'll make it a lot easier. And in fact, if you want it to be even easier, you can actually go over to Event Editor, which I should have done this from the start, but you know, whatever. You can go over here, and you can actually just hide your camera buttons whenever you move on to your second floor, obviously, because you don't want to see these cameras at all. So go over to where it says map toggle functions equal to 1, and for all of your buttons, you want to go right click, effect, set alphabetic coefficient to 255. If you guys don't remember, 0 is the most visible, and 255 is the least visible. So 0 is pretty much just invisible, or no, 0 is pretty much just visible, and then 255 is just invisible. But don't actually put make object reappear, make object disappear. Put the alphabetic coefficient to 255. So after you have that, you can just drag these over to all of your camera buttons, and then once you have that, you want to make sure that you can actually see them again. So where it says map toggles equal to 0, you can go over to your buttons now and go right click, effect, not launch an object, I don't even know what that does, effect, set alphabetic coefficient to 0, which is the most visible, and then just drag that to all of your check marks as well, which will make your job even easier, like I said before. But obviously this is then kind of useless, so let me just move this back. And then if you run the frame, and then you press map toggle, these cameras right here just disappeared. You can still click them because, you know, they're still there, they're just, you can't see them. But this will make our job easier when we actually do add more cameras. So that's what we're gonna do now. We are now gonna make some more cameras, and I will just show you how to add more cameras to your map toggle. So what you are for your second floor. So like I said before, I would move it so that your floor 2 map is the first map showing, just because it makes your job a lot easier. And then you can go right click, insert, active, and just insert all of your additional camera buttons for your next floor. So I am going to rename this to what did I rename the rest of them actually? Hold on. Just camera button 3. Yeah, I would just rename it to like camera button 7 because it is your 7th camera. So 7. And then just insert your camera 7, your camera 8, your camera 9, and just lay them all out. Obviously, like I said before, I don't have any pre-made camera buttons like that, so I have to make my own. But you guys get the picture. Add all of your camera buttons, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a moment. There we go. And once you have all of your camera buttons for your second floor, like with the map toggle, we need to move it behind our static. So obviously our static is let me see. It went up now because we added the map toggle. So it is the 16th object on the 4th layer. And we want to move it behind our static again. So an easy way to do this, like with the map toggle, is just kind of drag it so where like 1/2 is outside the canvas and 1/2 is inside the canvas, so that you can still kind of, interact with it. And then just select them all, and then go right click, order, backward 1, right click, order, backward 1, right click, order, and keep doing that until all 3 of your buttons are behind your static. So just keep doing that. This will take a minute, but you know, it's gotta look good. Perfection takes time. Fortunately, I'm slow. And boom. All of my camera buttons are now behind the static, which is great. And then just slide them into your cameras, obviously, or like slide them into your map. So I'm gonna put my camera 7 like here, my camera 8 here, and my camera 9 right here. There we go. And then we're gonna go up to our event editor. And now that we have more cameras, I'm actually gonna slide this over with all of my other cameras, which if you didn't know, you could slide your objects up here. So I did this for one of my games, and it helped a lot because it's just good for organizing and whatnot. So that's good. And like our other camera buttons, what we want to do is we want to actually hide our second floor map buttons and everything like that with the other camera buttons on the first floor. So, like with our other camera buttons, we're going to go over, and we're going to kind of do the opposite this time. So, over in where it says map toggle function is equal to 0, we're going to go over and go right click, effect, set alpha blending coefficient to 255. We want these to be invisible on the first floor. And we just drag that to the rest of your camera buttons. And then, when the map toggle is equal to 1, then we're going to go right click, where is it? Effect, set alpha blending coefficient to 0. And then just drag that across. And now, if you're in the frame, this should work as well. So, you go in, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen in the camera? And then you go, map toggle. Oh my god, they're right there, but I forgot to accidentally not run the frame, which we'll fix that. As you can see, if you keep the follow the frame checked, it'll look like this. So obviously we'll get rid of that, but as you can see, it is working. Oh, I forgot the map is backwards, but obviously if this was the other way around, which we will make it the other way around soon, I just forgot to change it back, and I'm sure you guys did too. But obviously when we do that, it should be working pretty properly. Pretty properly? I don't even know. So the final touches we can do for here is we can go back. First step, get camera 7, camera 8, and camera 9 all selected. Go over to runtime options and uncheck follow the frame. That's number 1. Number 2 is we go back into our map, and then we just make the map working again. So, you know, this is floor 1, this is floor 2. That's the formation it should be, and then it should really be working now. So, go back, boom, camera, and as you can see, yep, it's working. Now, obviously, you can't really click on these yet, and we will make it so that you can click on them. But it's working. And that's what we want to see. So now that we have that done, we're going to make it so that when you actually click on camera 7, view camera is equal to 7, view camera will be equal to 8, and view camera will be equal to 9. So that's what we need to know. So we're going to go up to event editor, and obviously, actually I'll get into that a little later, but we're going to go up to, where is it at? We're going to go over to camera triggers. Now, there are a couple things you need to know. For one, like as you can see here, I have 6 cameras, but if you followed the Foxy tutorial, I think it's only the Foxy tutorial. As you can see, this camera button, the view camera is set to 7 because I added another camera in the Foxy video. So obviously, if you are pretty much doing exactly what I'm doing, then you don't really have an issue with this. But this will kind of be an issue for a little later. So just remember that if you have more cameras than I do, just make sure you are following along and then kind of adapting as you go along. But what we are going to do is we're going to go over to new condition, the mouse pointer keyword, the mouse, user clicks on an object. This will be camera 7. There we go, camera button 7. And like I said, I'm not going to set the view camera to 7 because I already have a Foxy camera that sets my view, that sets the view camera counter to 7, so I'm actually going to set this to 8. But obviously if you don't have an additional camera like that, then you can set it to 7, but I have to set it to 8. And then also go over to your static and just drag down the set alpha lighting coefficient to 0 so that it also has a little fade into it. Then we're going to go over to new condition. Where's that? Oh yeah, camera button 8. No, the mouse pointer and keyboard. The mouse user clicks on an object. I don't know why that took me so long. And we'll be camera button 8. And then on camera button 8, we are going to drag down this check mark from the static so that it'll also work there. And then we wanted to set the view camera to 9 this time because obviously, like I said before, Foxy camera kind of gets in the way, all that. And then we're gonna do it one more time for our final camera. So we're gonna go over to the mouse pointer keyboard, the mouse, usually clicks on an object. There we go, and this will be camera 9. And then drag down the set alpha lighting coefficient to 0 in the static, and then go over to view camera, right click, set counter to 10. And this should work, kind of. It might work, it might not work. There are some things that you obviously need to keep out for, but I don't really know if this is gonna work or not. So the thing about this is, yes, the camera buttons are working, right? But you can still click on them, like, if you're on a separate floor. Like, for example, I can click on, like, I can click on all of this when I'm on this floor. So that it's messing it up. As you guys can see, it is messing it up. So I can still click on my camera 1, my camera 2, my camera 3. I can still click on all that on the first floor, even though it's invisible. It shouldn't work. So we are going to fix that as well. And this is another really easy fix. All you got to do is go over to where it says user clicks on the camera button 1. Go right click, insert, to the, what is it called? The, map toggle function. Compare the constant value when it is set to 0, which means that it is on floor 1. And once you have that, drag that down to all of your floor 1 cameras. Now, like I said before, what you want to do is you want to drag it down to these numbers so that it copies it over. Do not just drag it down like to here, because then it'll just like do that. It'll replace it rather than copy over. So just drag down here this code and then just drag that down to the numbers on each one. That one didn't work. There we go. Or rather to the box. Just drag these to the box outside of the code. So as you can see, like that, like this. And that'll be a lot easier because then you can click those on the first floor. And then on the second floor, where it says user clicks on the camera button 7, right click, insert, map toggle function, compare the counter to value. When it is set to 1, and then you just drag this down to the box outside of the code, like I said before. And boom, this should be working already. So if I click this, it should be already. God, what the fuck are you doing? So I don't know why it's like that, but there we go. I can click on these just fine. There we go. And the next step, obviously, is to get these cameras working. So that's what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna go down to the camera view, and we want to go new condition. We want to go over to where's the view camera? View camera, compare the currency value, and obviously, like I said before, it's whatever you set up here to be your different cameras. So for example, when I click camera 7, the view camera is set to 8. When I click on camera button 8, it's set to 9. When I click camera button 9, it's set to 10. So you just have to remember that. Then go down to the new condition, view camera, compare the currency value. When it is set to 8, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. When it is set to 8, we're going to go over to view camera, or to cameras, and go right click, animation, change, animation frame to 0. Now I know what you might be thinking. Well, but Cameron, why would you do that? That makes no sense, because on your first floor, like on your first frame of your cameras would just be the left hallway. No, it wouldn't, because you have to remember that we switched animation sequences all the way back here. So it has to be back on the first frame, right? So obviously, if I'm clicking on camera 7, I want it to show vent 1, which is my first frame on my vent animation. Does that make sense? I hope so. I don't know. So we're going to do that for the rest as well. So we're going to go over new condition, view camera, compare the currency value. When it is set to 9, then you want to go, oh, wait, did I mess up? No. Go over to cameras, right click, animation, change, animation frame to 10. Which I think I actually messed up somewhere. Oh, no. Don't force animation frame to 10. Force animation frame to 1. And then go over to new condition, view camera, compare the currency value. When it is set to 10, then go over to your cameras, right click, animation, change, animation frame to 2. And now it should be working. Hopefully. Obviously, we have to get rid of that, but that'll be the last thing we do. So, I'm clicking around with camera, so I'm having a fun time. Boom, map toggle. I'm on my second camera, I'm on my first camera, I'm on my third camera, and as you can see, it all works just fine. Now, there are a couple issues with this. One, all of these are still here once you get out of the camera, so we have to hide that in our camera animation. And also, if you look up here, it says cam right hallway. This is my right hallway. This is my right hallway. This is my vent. What do you mean? So we're also going to fix that as well. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to exit out of here, and we are going to go up to camera animation. By the way, this is the last stretch. Like, this is pretty much all we have to do, and it's done. So go over to your camera animation. Where the fuck that is? Where's my camera animation? Wait, hold on. Is it down here? Oh, God. Oh, it's... God damn it. Why is it hidden away like this? Okay, so I found it. And you want to go over to animation, cam up is over. Or, yeah, cam up is over. And you want to go over to... Where is that? What are you guys doing? Chill out. Jesus Christ, they're eating the hay like... Where? Go over to your camera buttons. I'm losing track. Which would be camera 7, camera 8, and camera 9, because we didn't set anything for that. And go over to camera button 7. And we want to go right click, visibility, reappear. Because the camera is up, we want all of our camera buttons to reappear. And then we want to go over to where it says camera animation trigger is equal to 0. And just go right click. And we want to go to visibility, make object invisible, because we don't want to see it when our camera is down. And then this should work, obviously. And we should have done the same thing for the camera toggle. I just kind of forgot, but we're getting there. So, as you can see, if I press the map toggle, it's not going to appear there anymore, which is good. Okay, and then we're also going to do the same thing for the map toggle. So, our map toggle is right here. And obviously, what is this? I've never seen this separator in my life. Why is there a separator here? Okay, but it doesn't matter. So, go over to where it says map toggle. On animation cam up is over, right click, visibility, make object reappear, and then go over to camera animation triggers equal to 0, right click, visibility, make object invisible, and it should also work. So you can see, oh, where'd it go? It's right here. And then that should pretty much be it. Obviously, the last thing we need to do is we need to worry about the string up here, and that should be it. But otherwise, your cameras are done. Your vent cameras are done. And that's what we pretty much wanted to do from the start. So, hallelujah, we did it. So, now the next thing we're gonna do is just figure out this paragraph and make it kind of say like, oh, vent 1, oh, vent 2, oh, vent 3, you know, all that. So to fix the whole paragraph issue, we want to go back to frame editor and we want to select our room name string. And then once you select your room name string, then obviously if you did this in a previous tutorial, this will be really easy. You want to go over to properties and you want to insert 3 more paragraphs for 3 more of your cameras. So obviously you want to insert 3 more paragraphs, and paragraph 8 is going to be cam vent 1. Paragraph 9 is going to be cam vent 2. And obviously, you know, it doesn't have to be vents, it could be whatever you want, but like I'm making it vents because why not? And then we have cam vent 3, and there we go. And then the very last thing we have to do, hopefully, I hope it's the last thing we have to do, is we want to go back up to our view cameras, I think it's called. Yep, we want to go over to our camera view, go over to where it says the view camera set to 8, scroll to the right until you see the room name string, right click, set paragraph to, you guessed it, cam vent 1, then go over to paragraph to view camera 9, right click, set paragraph to cam vent 2, and then go over to 10, right click, set paragraph to boom. There we go. And I think I actually left a space here. No? Okay. I guess I didn't leave nothing. And this should already be working. So we go in, boom, you know, left all the way, oh, show stage, and then you go here. And then you click these. Vent 1. You can go vent 2, and then vent 3. And then it should be good, right? But if you kept a keen eye, as you can see, if you actually click on map toggle, oh, what's going on here? Why is it like this? Well, it's like this because technically, it's not really, you have nothing to tell it what you're doing. So it still says you're on cam 3 because that's the last thing you clicked, right? So what you could do, and I would actually do this because this isn't too hard to do, is whenever you click on your map toggle, it'll set the vent camera view to 8, and then whenever you press the map toggle again, it'll set it to 1 on here, so it'll be sent to the left hallway. So that's what we're gonna do, just because it's gonna make our jobs a lot easier, and it's gonna be hopefully pretty quick. And a really easy way to do this is just go over to your map toggle is equal to 0 and go right click, insert, special conditions, limit conditions, only when event loops. And then you want to add the same thing to your map toggle is equal to 1. So go right click, insert, special conditions, limit conditions, only one action when event loops. And when these two are the case, just go over to your view camera, and whenever you're on map toggle is equal to 0, which means you're on the first floor, then go view camera, set counter to 1. And then go over to the map toggle is equal to 1, and then go right click, set counter to 8. Now, this is gonna work because it's doing this only one time every single time it comes around, so it's not always consistent. So it won't, like for example, since I'm on the first floor, it won't always stay on camera 1 no matter what I press, because it'll only do it once every time I loop that event. But if I press the map toggle, it says vent 1 now, and if I press it again, it says left hallway. So it's all fixed, it's all good. So that's about it for the tutorial. I know it was all over the place, just trying to get back into my rhythm. And the next thing I'm actually going to do is actually work on event system, which even I don't really know how to do, but I'll figure something out. And hopefully this tutorial was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. See you guys.